seen the evolution of online lead generation as you've been in this space for so long? And I'm going to couple that question with, what does KV Core do for us that most of us maybe don't know how to actually leverage to make sure that we're capturing these opportunities?
Yeah. Well, so, online lead generation, I don't know how many people follow Dan Kennedy, but, Dan Kennedy says something like, it's not online marketing, it's just marketing. It's just getting somebody's attention, getting them to engage with you, maybe exchange direct response marketing, exchange their contact info for something of value, and then follow up. So none of that structure has changed. It's just, I think that as marketing technology has matured over the last decade or two, we've just had to, if you've adapted and paid attention, then you're just using the latest and greatest tools. So a KV Core, a Chime, all the other ones out there, what those platforms have done is they've taken marketing automation technology and kind of pulled it all together for our business, for the real estate business. So, you said, what are the things like a KV Core can do? Well, a KV Core can help you build a multi-channel marketing funnel with a whole lot of automation, time-saving automation built in, but along the whole way, following like sound direct response marketing principles. So, I talk a lot about this. I call them growth systems or a real estate niche operating system. But a KV Core, you can go. I'm gonna lay out the whole thing here in 2 minutes.
Let's do it.
You can go say, hey, you can say, hey, I'm gonna work new construction in my market. Let me go fire up a squeeze page in KV Core with a list of new construction properties in St. Pete, Florida. I'm gonna go and run a Google ad. I need some traffic. I'm gonna send people searching for St. Pete real estate to my, new construction landing page. When they opt in for it, this can be a Facebook ad too. It doesn't matter what the traffic source is. When they opt into it, I'm going to use KV Core to send them an automatic text, asking them if they got the list or if they, are thinking of buying soon, some kind of conversational autoresponder. Maybe 10% of those people I'll get into conversations with if I'm cool and I can build rapport. I have some sales skills. I can convert some of those to now business right away. If they're actually out looking. The other 90%, well, I'll just use KV Core to run some longer term drip campaigns. Maybe I'll do some retargeting, run some Facebook. Maybe I'll switch channels from Google to Facebook. Maybe I'll send some direct mail as a follow-up. It's one of my favorite things. So, but the platforms themselves enable you to hit all these channels without having to buy 15 different pieces of software to do them.
Makes sense. There's a couple big nuggets right there I want to make sure people didn't miss. And please, you let me know if there's some others I'm missing. Number one, you just said that 90% of them are going to require nurturing. And I think a lot of agents don't understand how lead generation works these days. You can't just say, do you want your home value, and go take a listing that afternoon. Like, the game has changed tremendously. And we know now, even just from some of this type of marketing, that the number of touch points has actually grown, right? For people to start to build rapport and engagement. So follow-up is the key. And if you don't have a really robust follow-up mechanism, this online lead generation may not really suit what you're designed to try to do. So that's one big thing. The second one, I thought this was really interesting. You have a mailing piece as a follow-up, because that's really interesting. You go from like this digital world to print material. And I'm sure that's just a very different media for people to have like a follow-up from you.
Yeah, that's and I'm talking specifically about Thanks.io, which I'm a co-founder of. But back in the day, there was a feature in conversion where all the seller leads would get a postcard, especially if it was an address only. So you can still, Thanks.io kind of does that idea in a lot of different ways. But you can take somebody who's engaging with you online where the kind of impression is fleeting, right? I click a Google ad, I get to a page, and then like the doorbell rings or whatever, the phone rings, and I forget right away.
Yeah.
Well, there's technology now where you may have grabbed that person's address when they hit your website. Thanks.io has a sneaky like retargeting script. We can grab like 20% of people's addresses, and then a week later you're getting a postcard in the mail. And now now you're touching and feeling something, somebody else in your family's going and hanging it on the fridge, and the impression kind of lasts a little longer. So going back to your question about what's changed, probably the biggest thing that's changed is everybody else there's way more competition for your attention. So we need to get more strategic about touching people. It's not just 33 touches, it's 3,300 touches across across all different mediums and channels, right?